afternoon, excuse me, folks, and welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, also known as the Liddy Autist on Twitter. Please don't forget to follow me. We've got a few things to cover in this episode, so let's go ahead and get to it, shall we? I'm going to start first with my actually autistic folks. So, surprise, surprise, looks like JD is not the only one right now getting hit by the mainstream media. So, to get into it this morning, what I saw was another media news outlet in their infinite condescending wisdom, explaining to the populace how a particular offender probably did an act of terrorism due to their autism, because autistics can't distinguish right from wrong. Now, if you've been with me for some time and we rewind this a little bit, do you remember the study that I told you about, where they were talking about how it was a deficit due to the fact that autistics have a rigid moral code and refuse to compromise that code, even if it would be to the betterment of ourselves? Well, here's where logic doesn't come into it. You can't have both. Logic dictates either rigid moral code or not knowing right from wrong. So which is it? Which is it? And could we please stop blaming autism for every violent crime? I am so tired of the continuing perpetuated mainstream media continued stereotype of how autistics are inherently violent and prone to criminal violent behavior. Stop it. Stop it. If you know anything about autism, anything at all, it's that when it comes to rules, laws, regulations, we live, eat, breathe that daily. We crave structure. Criminal behavior brings in chaos. We're not fans of chaos. Chaos and people not following the rules and laws and just general human freaking decency is what can cause meltdowns in the first place. Your double speak and your double meanings is what causes meltdowns to happen. So, this is part of the reason why I created that petition, along with what happened with Shane McGowan from going on the Late Late Show. People with disabilities have been stereotyped painfully, harmfully in the media over and over and over again. And just to get into the social media side of things, people have been bullied. People have attempted to coerce people with disabilities and mental illness into suicide. There has been comments on our appearance, the way we look, our romantic relationships, whether we are even useful to the human race, whether or not we should give up our right to ventilators, should we get the coronavirus, or should we give it to an able-bodied person who can contribute more to the world. I've been dealing with this all year. I've been dealing with this my whole life. And I am tired of seeing it. I am sick and tired of the media having a free-for-all on anybody with a disability and a mental illness and continuing to get away with it, continuing to perpetuate harmful stereotypes, which continues to perpetuate isolation and hatred towards people with disabilities. I've had more than enough. They do things like this. They twist our words. I've had it happen on so many threads that I'm surprised I'm not blue in the face. People who accuse me of appealing to authority when I defend myself against people trying to put words in my mouth online, on social media, when I state anything at all, when one of my fellows is being attacked and people are demanding that they prove their diagnosis. So, with that in mind, I am going to again include the link to my petition to stop the mainstream media, social media, and Hollywood for continuing to perpetuate the hate, the prejudice, and the isolation against people with disabilities. This is not okay, folks, and it has cost lives. So, please, if you haven't signed already, please sign after this video, and guys, please continue to go ahead and circulate that. Which brings me to my next point with the mainstream media. So it's been a couple days since JD went ahead and posted on his Instagram just a very thoughtful Christmas/New Year's Eve message, acknowledging it's been a hard year for everyone, and just hoping for everyone that next year things are going to start looking up. Well, just like the media does so often with us in the disability community, they went ahead and decided to twist his words and somehow make it seem like he's talking about how it's been a hard year for him. The way they're insinuating this, from what I've seen today on Twitter with the New York Post, is it doesn't even give context to the entirety of his statement till a few paragraphs down, about halfway down the article. I didn't even click on it because I was already done with the insinuation when it put parentheses around hard 2020. This is what they do. This is what they do. If you go against their narrative, be it us in the disability community, or be you JD, who is going against this corrupt giant of a system, they will twist your words. They will put words in your mouth that you never said in order to make you to look like the bad guy. And anytime you come up behind that and you start hitting them with facts, they will try to silence you by blocking you so that nobody else can go onto the article and be able to see your statements of fact. Lovely, isn't it? Lovely, right? But anyways, this is what they do. This is what they do to all of us. And here's the thing about silencing tactics. What it tends to do is just piss us off. And when we have sit down and had ourselves a nice good think, we find ways of getting louder and of getting the word even more and more and more out there, right? So, I am thinking, just like it has with every other article that's been trashing JD, that this is probably, hopefully, it's gonna backfire. I really hope it does. Now, that being said, update. The dude who played Syrio Forel in Game of Thrones decided to throw in his 2 cents. I just noticed this, like, just a little bit before I decided to go ahead with this video and saying, boo-hoo, nobody cares. So people have been coming on, showing the facts, saying, hey, this is why you should care. His hit back is, look at abuse statistics and come back at me. Well, sir, I doubt you ever see this video, but just in case your little ignorant ass does. And I don't get monetized, so I'm going to swear. Deal with it. Just in case, sweetheart, even if it is the case that more women are abused than men, does that give AH or any other woman the excuse to terrorize, brutalize, and abuse their spouse and get away with it? Because that's what you're coming off as. You're coming off as, well, more men beat women than women beat men, so what? So what? Guess what? Less people die in plane crashes than they do starving in Africa. You gonna tell those family members, oh boo freaking who? Because only a handful of people died? Because that's the comparison we're looking at. Just saying. So folks, coming from an old campaigner who at this point in her life should be used to being slammed or seeing others that I care about their situations being slammed, you'd think I'd be used to this whole twisting of words and twisting everything to meet their narrative sort of thing, right? Well, every once in a while, their stupidity hits such a new level, in spite of it being an old trick, that it even catches me off guard. And between the disability and autistic community getting hit with that line of bullshit earlier today, and the twisting of JD's words, which were completely selfless and geared towards others and not himself, I just kind of got that another slap of reality that the corporate world, these media giants, they don't care about us. So if you want to win the fight, as hard as it is, even for me, we got to do what we can to not internalize their vitriol and just continue to fight back by continuing to get out the word. Now, thankfully, back when I started all of this around 2006, we didn't have all the tools that we had now be able to get out the word, and we were still able to do it by some miracle. So it can be done, guys. We just got to keep reaching out to different communities, reaching out and telling them what's going on. Because the more you get the facts out there, the less and less people are going to buy this nonsense. People are waking up to the fact that the mainstream media is no longer the objective voice of straight reporting that it used to be. And as long as we keep getting the truth out there, more and more people are going to see it. So, combating it by continuing to do what we do, but to not internalize their hatred and vitriol of those of us who challenge their narrative would be the best thing I would like you to take from this. Alright, folks. That's all I have for this afternoon. Now, I don't really have anything else to go off of today. Please, we don't get many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed by YouTube. So if you could, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and as always, please don't forget the comments. I do want to thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a good one.